What's up everybody and welcome to Hoarding Wombat Collectibles. Today we have an Adventures in the Forgotten Realms gift box as we hunt for the infamous Old Gnawbones as part of our Hunt for the Dragon series, which you can watch more of right up here. I bought this from TCG Player for around $97.82 back in March, which turns out to be a great deal because the lowest price I can find it on TCG Player right now is almost $150, which is pretty crazy. So let's use the price $150 up at the top to see if it's really worth that much. Editor, do the thing. I'm actually pretty excited to learn more about like the lore and monsters behind D&D because me and my friends are actually starting a campaign hopefully within the next like couple months, and I've been having pretty busy October as you might have been seeing from my posts. But yeah, I have a character I wanted to do, which was like a Goblin Ranger, which I wanted to see if it would actually work out. I think it'll be pretty good. Maybe I can get some inspiration out of this. So you can see you get an oversized spin down, which is like the gift edition. So it's a like purple kind of like wispy one, which is pretty cool. You get 15 card boosters for the draft boosters, and then one collector booster, which I was excited about. That's why I got the gift bundle. You get the foil edition card box, 20 traditional foil and regular basic lands, 3 oversized dungeon cards, which I think I only have a couple of, and then an alt art traditional foil treasure chest card, which is pretty cool. All right, here we go. Open it up like this. You get this box. I've said it before on my channels, you can't really use this for anything. It doesn't really fit Magic cards very well. I think it's just a spacer, but at least it's made out of cardboard and not plastic. But I use them kind of actually on my bookcases to kind of like space out the books so they come a little bit more to the front. It actually works pretty well for that. But if you want to use that, we got a little beepy thing. Oh, I didn't know. Okay, so I didn't realize it was oversized dungeon cards, which is pretty cool. And then you get a little insert. That's cool. It has the player's manual, the old player's manual that's on there. That's pretty neat. And then you have this little kind of art scenery of a dragon kind of destroying a temple, which is pretty cool. I like these little scenery things. I keep them. I don't know why I keep them. I really have no reason and no use for them, but I just kind of like them. And then you have the actual box with all of our stuff in it. It's a nice little box. It's got some sigils on there, foil sigils, so that's pretty cool. See that? You get 10 boosters, which is pretty awesome, and the collector booster. Obviously, we'll save that for last. Then you get all of these lands, the die, and this actually comes with a little box. I love this little insert box. It's nice to like, if you're making a commander deck, you want to put your commander deck in here. Even sleeved commander decks, like a full sleeved commander deck fits in here, which is nice. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Then we'll start with just these oversized little dungeon cards. These are actually pretty good. I only have like a couple. I have to look in my like token thing to have all these, but I'm guessing these are all of the, I don't know if these are all of the dungeon cards. It's kind of like Undercity. When you enter the dungeon, some of the cards have that on there. So you enter the dungeon and then you keep going through, you can pick what it is, and they actually get pretty powerful after everything. So we have Tomb of Annihilation, then we have Dungeon of the Mad Mage, then we have Lost Mine of the Fandelver. Got that right eventually. All right, and then you just have I guess there's the reference cards that are in here. So there you go. They're out of the way, so we don't have to go through that. We'll go through the lands first. I know I'll put a little thing if you want to skip the lands. I know some people, probably most people don't really care about the lands, but I like to show them off just to, as part of the box opening, show everything. So here we go. We'll zoom in a little bit. There we go. All right, so we have regular planes. They have some like lore on here too, which is pretty nice. The artwork's pretty cool. Planes and a planes and a planes. Looks like 4 of each. Island. Ooh, a little treasure. Pirate island. Another island. Swamp. Mountain. Forest. And forest. That's pretty cool. A little bit less painless. A little less painless than the older boxes, which come with like a lot of lands. So that's usually a little crazy. Now we have the little treasure chest. So this is the special art foil bundle. I don't know if this actual treasure chest is actually worth much, but it's pretty cool. It's three cost artifact. You can pay 4, sacrifice treasure chest, and roll a d20. If you get a 1, you can lose 3 life, so roll in that 1. If you get 2 through 9, create 5 treasure tokens. 10 through 19, you gain 3 life and draw 3 cards, which is pretty cool. And then 20, search your library for a card. If it's an artifact card, you may put it into the battlefield. Otherwise, put that card into your hand, then shuffle. Maybe you could go for like the 1 ring or something like that. It's pretty cool. Kind of like cool with rolling the die, like a little D&D campaign. So we have a foil plains. The same artworks as everything, just in foil. Island. And the swamp. And we got the mountain. And we got mountain. And then the forest. All right. And the forest. There we go. So that's all that. We got that out of the way. Now we can get to the fun stuff. So we'll start with these packs. Actually, we'll take a look at this die first. So it does have the Adventures in Forgotten Realms little sign on there. Then it has this really nice sparkly, like, kind of galaxy on here. So it is a very nice little D20. It's pretty cool. So let's actually we'll roll. Let's see what we get. A 3. That is not great. That is not going to be good for us. Let's see if we can make up our luck with these cards. So I know Old Gnawbones is like, I think, the main thing in the whole entire set. So I think that's the best card right now. So we have Goblin Token on the back. We'll go Earth Cult Elemental, and this has also the other little roll d20 thing. Arcane Investigator, Minimist Containment, Herald of Hadar, Circle of the Moon Druid, Dueling Rapier. You come to Knoll Camp. I have probably like 500 of these. You find a cursed idol, which is pretty cool. It's just kind of like an encounter. What happens, like, so you get to choose one. Kind of how you decide with that encounter. Improvised weaponry, a lot of treasure token stuff in here too. Ginny Windseer, Aberrant Mind Sorcerer, Ray of Enfeeblement. I don't know why I couldn't say that. Cloister Gargoyle, and Lair of the Hydra. That's pretty cool. If you control 2 or more other lands, Lair of the Hydra enters tapped. Add a green, and then add X in a green. Until end of turn, Lair of the Hydra becomes an XX green Hydra creature that's still land, and X can't be 0. That is pretty cool. I do have a bunch of Hydra cards. I wanted to maybe do a Hydra deck, but that's a fun little card. We have an island, and then Dungeon of the Mad Mage, which we already have in the Oversized. All right, so let's go to the next one. Get through these pretty quick. There are 10, so it's a good amount of boosters. I don't know if it's going to be really worth it in the end with all this. Maybe the collector booster, we get something crazy. But let's see. All right, Scaled Herbalist. Price of Loyalty. I don't know why I almost said Pierce of Loyalty. Shocking Grasp. Priest of the Ancient Lore. It's pretty cool. Dwarf Cleric. I didn't want to make like kind of a dwarf deck. But a lot of it was like dungeon crawling too. I have like a white-black dungeon crawling deck I wanted to do. Deadly Dispute. Sylvan Shepherd. Veteran Dungeoneer. Underdark Basilisk. Manticore. Baleful Beholder. That's pretty cool. I did want to kind of make a Beholder deck. I got that one secret lair that had all the eyes, all the beholders. I forgot what his name was off the top of my head. But Lightfoot Rogue, Dungeon Crawler. It's pretty cool for a Dungeon Crawler deck. Tiger Tribe Hunter, Ranger class. This one I actually think was pretty good, so I'll take that. Ranger class. Its enchantment enters. It's just a colorless and a green. When the Ranger class enters the battlefield, create 2/2 green wolf creature token. Then you can level it up for 1 and a green. Whenever you attack, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature. Then you can level it up for 3 and a green. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast creature spells from the top card of your library, which is pretty cool. Then we got another forest and Tomb of Annihilation, which we also have in the Oversized. All right, let's get to the next one. Glad these are opening up pretty easy. All right, we have Shambling Ghast, Inspiring Bard, Swarming Goblins, Air Cult Elemental, Planar Ally. Really want to find some like legendary creatures in here. Fate's Reversal, You find the villain's lair. Steadfast Paladin. Ginny Windseer again. Feign Death. Critical Hit. Guild Thief. Magic Missile. It's a good card. Ooh, Zariel, Archduke of Avernus. That is pretty cool. We got a Mythic. It's a legendary planeswalker. Creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain haste until end of turn. So +1 everything. Created 1 red devil creature token with when this creature dies, deals 1 damage to any target. I do have like a demon devil deck, kind of like sacrificing the devils to deal 1 damage to pay for your demons and stuff like that, which is really fun. And then you can -6 it. You get an emblem at the end of your first combat phase on your turn. Untap target creature you control. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. That's pretty cool. Just doing a couple more combats. That's pretty awesome. We got a mountain and Lost Mind of Fandelver. All right, do another one. That's pretty cool. So we got a mythic, so that's nice. I'm glad that we got something. Not an Old Gnawbones yet, but we'll see. Horde Robber. Some nice treasure stuff. Turgard Ranger. Armory Veteran. Move it out a little bit. Charmed Sleep. Dwarf Hold Champion. Yuan-Ti Fanblade. Plundering Barbarian. Spiked Pit Trap. Have tons of those. Bulette. That's pretty cool. That's in that different showcase art. I wasn't a huge fan of the showcase art. Some of it are like kind of cool, but some of them aren't great. Hama Pashar is Ruin Seeker. Little human wizard, legendary creature. Room abilities of dungeons you own trigger an additional time. That's pretty cool. Wild Shape. Black Dragon. Have a couple of those. Ooh, a treasure chest. Okay, so we have the regular treasure chest. I don't know if we have that other one over here. So you can see this is the alt art. If it would focus. There we go. So you can see this is the alt art, and then this is the regular art. So you can see that. It's a nice example of that, so that's cool. Devoted Paladin in the foil. Nice Orc Knight. I think I have this in my Knight deck. And then a Plains, and then a Dungeon of the Mad Mage again. All right, on to the next one. Let's keep going. Ooh, Secret Lair. Want to buy some overpriced cards? You can figure that out. Dueling Rapier. Soul Knife Spy. Paladin Shield. It's pretty cool. Maybe I'll put that in my my Knight deck. Hired Hexblade. Ranger's Longbow. Unexpected Windfall. Pretty good card. Comes to the Knoll Camp. Another Baleful Beholder. Improvised Weaponry again. The Ginny Windseer. We might have a playing set of those already. Rust Monster. Power of Persuasion. It's pretty cool. Little two-headed giant. Centric Apprentice. Instrument of the Bards. That's pretty cool. I think I might have this. This is pretty cool. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a harmony counter on Instrument of the Bards. Search your library for a creature card with mana value equal to the number of harmony counters on Instrument of the Bards. Reveal it and put it into your hand. If that card is legendary, create a treasure token. Then shuffle. It's nice for a little legendary deck. We have an island, and then we have a devil, and just the Secret Lair on the back. Cool. Instrument of the Bards. All right, we have Compelled Duel. That's cool. Compelled Duel. Jade Sellsword. Secret Door. Secret Tunnel. No, that's it. And that's the next set. Potion of Healing. Thieves' Tools. You find the villain's lair. Goblin Javelineer. Manticore again. Plundering Barbarian again. Prosperous Innkeeper. I think this one is a pretty good card, actually. When it enters the battlefield, create a treasure token. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield you control, you gain 1 life. That's pretty cool. A little halfling citizen. So maybe we can make a little halfling deck. Demogorgon's Clutches. Split the Party. Orb of Dragonkind. Add 2 mana in any combination of colors. Add this to only cast dragon spells or activate dragon abilities of dragons. Sacrifice Orb of Dragonkind. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. Reveal a dragon card from among them and put them into your hand. Put the rest into the bottom of your library in a random order. Okay, so at least we can we have something to search for our dragons, but no Old Gnawbones yet. Grim Wanderer, Goblin Warlock. It's just a foil. It's pretty cool. Maybe that could be my guy. Maybe I could be a Goblin Warlock. He kind of looks like a Goblin Ranger. So that's pretty cool. A Forest. And then Dungeon of the Mad Mage again. All right. So we have 4 more packs. And then we have the Collector Booster. Let's open this up. All right. We have Grim Bounty. It's pretty cool. If we could focus in. There we go. Grim Bounty. Sylvan Shepherd again. Boots of Speed. Got kind of like Lightning Greaves, but a little bit different. But it gets haste. That's pretty cool. Contact the Other Plane. +2 mace. Like that. That was pretty cool. Sepulture Ghoul. I can never say this. Sepulture Ghoul. Yutang Fang. Yuan-Ti Fang Blade. That's so hard to say. Great Axe. That's pretty cool. Pixie Guide. Spare Dagger. You Find Some Prisoners. Power of Persuasion. A White Dragon. So we got Black Dragon. We got White Dragon. Hall of Storm Giants. I have a couple of these. I actually think I have the pre-release card for Hall of Storm Giants. It's pretty cool. If you control 2 or more other lands, Hall of Storm Giants enters the battlefield tapped. Add a blue. Pay 5 and a blue until end of turn. Becomes a 7/7 blue giant creature with ward 3, and it's still a land. And then we have a mountain. And then we have Mind of the Fandelver. I don't know why I always want to say Philander. Philander. All right. There we go. Do that. All right. We have a Zombie Ogre. That's pretty cool. Big Zombie Ogre guy. 3/5. We have a Plummet. Always love a Plummet. Earth Cult Elemental. Shortcut Seeker. Gloom Stalker. Kick in the Door. Spiked Pit Trap. Leather Armor. Dire Wolf Prowler. I think I have a couple of those. Druid class. Warlock class. And Ranger class? No, just a Black Dragon. And then Fighter class. That's pretty cool. When Fighter class enters the battlefield, search your library for an equipment card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. That's pretty cool. Equipment abilities you activate cost 2 less to activate. That's nice. And then whenever a creature you control attacks, up to 1 target creature blocks it. This combat if able. That's actually pretty cool for like a little equipment. I think there's like a dwarf equipment deck that I might have. So it would be perfect for my dwarves. Awesome. And it's red white too, so Boros colors. Awesome. Underdark Basilisk. That's a nice Death Touch creature. On the foil, I got a swamp, and then a Dungeon of the Mad Mage. All right. So let's go to the next one. Got this over here. We got 2 more, and then the big baddie. All right. We have Paladin Shield, Shambling Ghast, Hill Giant Herd Gorger. Did want to make like a little giant deck too. Valor Singer, Tiefling Bard, Scion of Stygia, Potion of Healing, Hoarding Ogre. This one's pretty nice. Devour Intellect, Chattering Skeletons. I have a skeleton deck too. I have every tribal you could ever think of. Improvised Weaponry, Curdle of Baldur's Gate. I probably have like 5 of these. Guild Thief, Faraday, the Devil's Chosen, Tiefling Warlock. That's pretty cool. Whenever you roll 1 or more die, Faraday, Devil's Chosen, gains flying and menace until end of turn. If any of those results were 10 or higher, draw a card. Fancy. Ooh, that's cool. The Tarrasque. That's pretty cool. It's a big, giant dinosaur. It has haste and ward 10 as long as it was cast. That is insane. Whenever it attacks, it fights target creature defending player controls. That is pretty awesome. Tarrasque. Nice. So that's pretty cool. Another mythic. That's 2 mythics in here. We haven't even got to the collector booster. It's Plains, and that's a treasure token with just a Friday Night Magic. All right, we got 2 more. We have the regular one and the collector booster. So let's see what we got in this regular one. All right. Arcane Investigator, Minimus Containment, Precipitous Drop, Find the Path, Dragon's Fire, some more dragon cards. Maybe it'll all culminate with a borderless Old Gnawbones. Bar the Gate, You come to the Knoll camp. You're ambushed on the road. Oh, a little crazy stuff. Rim Shield Frost Giant. Ooh, a nice little mimic. So different than the actual treasure chest that you got there. Gretchen Twitchlow, a little halfling druid. It's cool in Simic colors. Moon Blessed Cleric. Ray of Enfeeblement. And Werewolf Pack Leader. That's cool. Whenever Werewolf Pack Leader attacks, if you attacked with creatures with total power 6 or greater this combat, draw a card. Till end of turn, it becomes base power and toughness 5/3, gains trample, and isn't a human. It's weird that it doesn't have a flip side, like most werewolves from like Innistrad and stuff. Swamp, and then a little fairy dragon. There's no Old Gnawbones yet, but we still have the big old collector booster to open up. So let's see what we can get. Wow, that was so much easier than every other collector booster I've ever opened. Let's see. So another Paladin Shield. Oh, there we go. Another Paladin Shield in the foil. We have Contact Another Plane in the foil. Find the Path in the foil. Ginny Wins Here in the foil. That's a playing set right there. Fly. Druid Class in the foil. Another Forest in the foil. And here we go. Sorcerer Class. And when a Sorcerer Class enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. Creatures you control have add blue or red. Spend this mana only to cast a sorcery spell or gain a class level. Oh, that's kind of cool. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, that deals damage to each opponent equal to the number of instant or sorcery spells you've cast this turn. That's nice. Okay, this is from the Commander. Mantle of the Ancients. Enchant creature you control. When Mantle of the Ancient enters the battlefield, return any other aura or equipment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to enchanted creature. That is pretty cool. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each aura and equipment attached to it. Nice long rest. I'm getting run out of breath with all this this text. Return X target creatures with different mana values from your graveyard to your hand. If 8 or more cards were returned this way to your hand this way, their life total becomes equal to the starting life total. Exile Long Rest. And then we have just a regular Mimic. That's kind of sucks for a common in this special frame. Another common in this special frame, which kind of thinks. Neverwinter Druid. Minion of the Mighty, little kobold. That's pretty cool. Whenever a minion of the Mighty attacks, if you attack with creatures with total power 6 or greater during this combat, you may put a dragon creature card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. That's pretty cool. Direwolf Prowler. Again, another common foil. That's insane. Teleportation Circle. That's a borderless foil. That's pretty cool. At the beginning of your end step, exile up to 1 target artifact or creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. And a treasure token. And that's it. Wow, that was an awful collector booster. There were so many commons in that like specialty slot. That is insane. And no Old Gnawbones. I think I'm gonna have to open another collector booster. I did buy one just for morning coffee cracks because that was just painful. There were so many good pulls in the other ones. I don't know. I mean, there were a couple mythics. I don't know if they're worth anything, but we had a couple mythics and everything. But if you like these, I do like opening these little bundle boxes. So I opened a bunch of those. If you like what you're seeing over here, this fighter class I'll definitely use for my dwarf deck. But if you like this, if you want to like and subscribe, support the channel would be pretty cool. Just liking and subscribing and watching. Just watching really helps with everything. But yeah, if you want to check out my morning coffee cracks, I'm gonna hunt for some more dragons. I just did an Alara Reborn to try to get Karthus, Tyrant of Jund. We have this Instrument of the Bards, pretty cool. But yeah, so if you like these, I'll definitely do more of them. Definitely going to be hunting for dragons for a little bit. I have a couple other things planned. You could watch, I did a Plane Chase anthology box just before. Got some really good things. Might have not made my money back on this one, but I definitely made my money back on that one. So if you want to check that out, you can watch that one up here. But that's pretty much it. Thanks everybody for watching, and have a good day.